Hey, thanks for tuning in to another episode of DonyB TV. Of course, it's your girl DonyB here, and in today's episode, I'm going to be doing for you chicken and grits. I know we're all familiar with shrimp and grits, but today I want to change it up a little bit and spice it up. Had a bunch of chicken in the freezer and I wanted to utilize that. So here are all of my ingredients that I'm going to be using in order to create this dish. So stay tuned to see how all this comes together. First, I'm going to start off by slicing my onions. I picked up this nifty little gadget here. It's a mandolin from Home Goods. And once I have sliced up all of my onions, I am going to go ahead and spread that into the bottom of my casserole dish. And I end up using like 3/4 of a medium-sized yellow onion. So I'm going to go ahead and spread those onions all the way across the bottom of my casserole dish to make sure that everything is evenly distributed. And once I have made them distributed evenly across the bottom of my pan, I'm going to take a can of fire roasted diced tomatoes, and because your girl is frugal, I picked up the good old Great Value brand. Tastes just as good as any of the other name brand tomatoes. Actually, I like these over some of the name brand tomatoes. So then I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle those tomatoes across the bottom of this casserole dish on top of those onions. And to take it a step further, I'm going to go ahead and mix those onions and tomatoes together to make sure everything is evenly incorporated. So it should look a little something like that. And to give my food a little flavor, this is one of my favorite seasonings. What it is a bouillon cube with tomato and chicken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this cube out of the wrapper, and then I am going to crumble it up over the top of my tomato and onion mixture. So just go ahead and crumble it up and evenly distribute it across. It doesn't matter like if I have too much on one end or too much on the other end. In the end, it all is going to get baked in together. Then I'm going to do the same thing with a chicken bouillon cube as well. This is one of my favorite brands for bouillon cubes. I think it was like a 96 cents for one pack, and there are maybe like 12 bouillon cubes that comes in that little pack. So I am going to go ahead and break this up in the same manner as I did the other ones, and I am going to just toss it in into the tomato and onion mixture across the bottom. And then this is what it looks like. There you have it before we move on to our next step. Now what I'm going to do is going to take a little onion powder, and I am going to liberally season this over the bottom of my chicken. Now what we're looking at is some boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and you can use whatever type of chicken that you like. If you want to use the skin on chicken, that's fine. Then I'm going to go ahead and get some of that garlic powder, and I am going to evenly distribute that across the bottom of actually over the top of the chicken. The chicken is actually on face down. So you can put as much as of these dry seasonings that you want onto them, simply because there is no sodium. So I am all about flavor, so I did put quite a bit of black pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder over my chicken. Now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to use my favorite seasoning. This is smoked paprika. Some people may say paprika has no flavor, but if you get that smoked paprika, it tastes so good. The aromatics from it really shines through on any dish that you put it on. Now I'm going to take that chicken and place it seasoned side down on those onions and tomatoes and the bouillon cubes. and I'm just going to go ahead and line all of that up in the pan. Notice that when I did season the bottom side of this chicken, I did not add any salt. I did not add any sodium, simply because those bouillon cubes are at the bottom of this dish, and it has quite a bit of sodium, so I didn't want to add too much, and so the salt would overpower the entire dish. So until my pan is filled, I'm just going to continue to load those boneless, skinless chicken thighs in there. And after I do that, I am going to complete the same process over again here, starting with my different powders, my onion powder, my garlic powder, and my pepper. Alright, so here is where I switch up my seasonings a little bit. I add some adobo all-purpose seasoning. We're just going to give it a little sprinkling across the top. And then I am going to go in with a little Himalayan sea salt and sprinkle some of that, well, grate some of that or grind some of that over the chicken thighs. You see, it was not very much, just a little bit. And so I'm going to also here add a little water to the sides, and notice how I'm pouring the water on the sides. I'm not pouring it over the top of my chicken, simply because I don't want to wash off all of those seasonings that I meticulously put on the top of each one of my chicken breast. I apologize, my chicken thighs. Now, in this case, I think I put maybe a half a cup of water in here. In all actuality, I would have been okay with just putting a fourth of a cup. And here we go, right before we go into the oven. So my oven is set at 375. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in. I'm also gonna set my timer to 45 minutes. Alright, now on to the grits. From here, I am going to start off by following the directions that are on the packaging. I'm going to be making a serving size of 4, so that's 4 cups of water and 1 cup of grits. Here I am going to add a bouillon cube just to give the water a little flavor so my grits are not bland. A trick to get your water to boil faster, simply just put a lid on it. And who likes dried chicken? I know I don't. So I'm just going to take this basting brush that I picked up at Dollar Tree, and I am going to baste my chicken. I'm going to shut the oven and bake it for an additional 10 minutes. Now that our water has come to a rapid boil, what I'm going to do is take a cup of grits. Actually, this is 5 minutes instant grits, and I am going to slowly whisk it into the water chicken broth mixture, and I am going to allow it to cook per the package for 5 to 7 minutes. Now, after the grits have been thoroughly mixed in, I am going to lower the temperature to medium-low heat, and I am going to put a lid on it and allow the grits to cook from there. I am going to occasionally go in and stir the grits to make sure that they're not sticking to the bottom of the pot. Now, after my grits have cooked, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 ounces of cream cheese, and 3 tablespoons of sour cream. I'm going to then whisk everything in until it is thoroughly incorporated. Whisk, whisk, whisk. Check out my wrist work. And here I'm gonna add some pepper to taste. This is a 6-ounce jar of Parmesan cheese, and I'm just gonna add half of that to my grits. So that would be about 3 ounces of Parmesan cheese that I've added. Then I'm going to stir into the grits until it is thoroughly incorporated. Because the bouillon cube and the Parmesan cheese did add an element of salt, I wanted to go ahead and taste my grits to see if any more salt is needed. I am okay with the way that it tastes, so I am going to turn the fire off and plate. And oh my, this looks so good. Chicken and grits, it's easy to put together. Thank you so much for watching. Leave down in the comments if you decided to make this dish. If you have not already subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Come back and see me.